Welcome to a Good Enough Parent podcast. So, in our last episode, we talked about a really popular topic, screen time. We touched on how it could be both beneficial and a harm to your kids, depending on how it's used. But there's another piece of the puzzle we need to discuss: online safety. Screens aren't just the window to education apps, fun, and games. They can also expose our children to predators, inappropriate content, and emotional risks. So today I am joined by an expert who is going to help us navigate these tricky waters. So we are not going to waste any more time. Let me introduce Fareedah Shaheed, my internet safety expert. She helps parents protect their kids online. So please share a little bit about yourself and make sure you give us your teen background because I think that's so important for our guests to know.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I have a background in cybersecurity awareness. So that's like professional background, the cybersecurity awareness, the threat intelligence, working in corporate. And then I have my teen background. I grew up since I was 13 years old. I was playing online games. I loved online forums, a little bit of social media, but really just forums, chats, and video games. And I've been doing that since I was 13 years old. I connected with predators, with strangers, with friends, people who I'm friends with till this day. I've experienced people growing up, getting married, going to college, having kids. So it's a whole thing. There's a good, bad, ugly, and beautiful side. And that's my background. And of course, I'm an award winning Forbes 30 under 30 internet safety expert.
Awesome. So I want my parents to catch that part that she said. When she was a teen, she was doing some dangerous things. She was interacting with some folks that you don't want your kids to interact with. And so now, with her background in cybersecurity, she is here to make sure that your kids are safe and protected. So, in order to do that, one of the questions I really want to encourage my parents to do is reflect on how screen time makes their children feel. Like when they're on these devices, I want them to start observing and noticing their children. What signs should they look for?
Oh, I would say signs of disconnection from themselves, disconnection from you, shutting down. What I always tell parents is yes, of course, I'm an expert in internet safety, but you are the expert in your child's. You're the expert, period. There are many people that I can say many things, including myself. And if you see a piece of advice that doesn't resonate with you, then you should mostly focus on your gut feeling. So I would say, you know, when your child is acting differently, you know, when they're trying to hide something from you. And even if you don't catch it immediately, over time you'll realize that they're disconnecting from you. They don't want to talk to you. They're huddled up into their room. When you come in the room, their phone is like, "Oop," it's to the other side, right? So those are signs that the screen time is becoming unhealthy.
Really good red flags for them to pay attention to, especially the shifts in mood or behavior or anything like that, and the avoidance factor. So online predators are a huge concern for parents. I'm sure your parents were concerned. What are some warning signs that a child is actually interacting with someone who could be dangerous online? And how can parents proactively protect their children from these threats?
I would say it's hard to figure out whether or not they're talking to a predator. Sometimes you want to go through their phone to realize, like, who are they talking to? Because kids, they view the predator, and this is as my own experiences as well, is you're viewing the predator you're talking to as your friend. So it may be just a friend. It also could be a friend from school. It could be the friend from school's brother or sister that is grooming them online through Roblox because they connected with them through something else. So it's very challenging to figure that out without talking to your kid one or looking through their device. Looking through the device is a whole other conversation. I don't know if we wanna get into it. You have to be very careful with that, but that is one way you can figure it out because you, as an adult with your frontal lobe fully developed, are reading messages that you realize are a red flag, right? But your child is not gonna realize that. The second way that you can realize it is if you are creating a space as much as humanly possible where your child feels comfortable speaking to you about anything and everything that goes on online, the good, bad, ugly, and beautiful. So who they're talking to, why they're talking to them, what do they talk about, not so that they're giving you status updates on what they're doing, but because they feel so free to tell you anything. And then as they're speaking to you, you'll be like, wait a minute, they said what? Why did they say? Why did they say that? And so that would be a red flag moment. But besides looking at their behaviors and whether they're connecting with you or shutting the door or taking their phone away or trying to delete apps or quickly closing out a browser, those are some ways that you can tell.
Up the brain, right? So anybody who's watched any of the other episodes, you will hear me say this all the time that our kids don't have adult brains. And because they don't have adult brain, the part of their brain that would say, this is dangerous, this person may not be who they're acting like. Um, I don't know I'm being groomed because I'm a kid and they're being very friendly, and they may be an adult pretending to be a child. And so I love that you said that parents have to create the environment for their children, that they are open enough to come to them if something doesn't seem right or seems odd. Um, 'Cause it's hard. It's gonna be really hard for them to be able to discern what a predator is and what it is not. Speaking of that, I love that you did this online. So online, she's gonna say her, IG name in a minute, but right around the start of the school year, and we're when this comes out, this is gonna be around the time of year probably where you guys are posting pictures of family events and things. Um, you gave a really good advice about not posting your child's school, not posting, where they go to school or standing in front of the school. Talk about why that's so important.
Well, a lot of predators are very tech savvy. They understand the internet and they also are hackers. And so if you are posting where your child is going to school, of course they can figure out okay, the school schedule. They just go right to the school website, figure out okay, what activities are happening. They might go drive by the school, try to find your child. If you're posting even their school uniform, let's say they go to a private school and there's a logo, all they have to do is Google search that image to figure out where that school is. And so you just want to be mindful about the information you're putting online and whether or not that could be used against you and your child. And this also goes not just for public accounts, but private accounts and for private parent Facebook groups. I know that sounds like, oh my God, that's crazy. Why? Why do I have to care about that? It's a private account, it's a private Facebook group, but you still have to be really mindful.
Talked to someone before who said, even private accounts that are only your friends on Facebook, sometimes they share on their accounts because they're so excited and theirs may not be as private as yours. And then it exposes your child in that way also. That is probably going to be, I know you have a workshop or in your free resources, which we will put in the show notes around protecting your child and whether or not you want your child's face to be online and how you actually allow your child to show up online. So stay tuned. I'm telling you, the free resources is amazing. They're going to be in the show notes. And I guarantee you this will not be our only episode. So let's talk about something else that's really serious. Even the best parental controls, kids can sometimes come across inappropriate content. How can parents handle it when this happens, especially in a way that keeps the lines of communication open with their children?
Well, one of the best ways is to be vulnerable yourself, and I know that's not something none of us wanna hear that. It's like, "Okay, what are the tips? What do I tell them? How do we begin the conversation?" But the one of the best ways is to give your kids an understanding that you're a human being as well. So one of the reason why I did not speak to my mother, even though I know she loved me and they provided the best life, and most of the trauma that I have from childhood came from other people, not my parents, to be honest, and I still did not trust them. I still did not come to them to tell them anything because I felt like they were perfect parents. They were the pillars of community. My mother was a community leader, and I felt that anything I did could reflect badly on her, or she would feel like, oh, I didn't raise my child in the way that she should be raised. And so sometimes your kids don't feel like coming to you when they see something online. And if you are open and vulnerable about different things that you saw online or things that you saw as a kid, maybe like your brother or uncle or sister or somebody, cousin had a magazine under their bed and you accidentally saw it. How did you deal with that? So being very vulnerable and honest about your experiences growing up. A lot of parents tell me, "Well, I've never experienced porn growing up because that's not something that happened in our household. I didn't see explicit content or I didn't grow up playing video games." You don't have to. You have experiences in your childhood that made you feel uncomfortable, that made you feel uneasy, a conversation that you overheard or something that you saw. So how did you deal with that as a kid? And most likely you didn't deal with it in the right way. So as you were growing up, how did you change your strategies? So speaking to your kids openly and honestly about struggles that you have in a way that is helpful to them can be really, really beneficial in terms of them coming to you if they ever see something.
Good. Knowing that all of us accidentally click on things that we aren't expecting to click on. I had myself been playing a game online, just a little puzzle game, innocent little game, And I kept trying to figure out why it was sending me to Google Chrome and pulling up some other thing and nothing inappropriate, but I couldn't figure out what I was doing. And what I was doing was somehow I was hitting the banner at the bottom of the game while I was playing. And I didn't realize that I actually had hit this banner. It took me like 10 minutes because it kept happening. I was like, why is this happening? Why does this keep opening? And so our kids don't realize that they may accidentally hit something and it will end up being something inappropriate that pops up. And I love that you said if we share small experiences, any kind of experience, it allows them to say, hey, everybody makes mistakes. And you didn't even know that was going to pop up. And then parents can find a way, if it's not already been blocked, to block it. So I really appreciate that. All right. So here's the thing, social media. Whew. Social media can be a source of anxiety for kids, especially if they start comparing themselves to other people. What advice do you have for parents to help their children manage these feelings of inadequacy that might stem from social media?
So it's a complex answer, nuanced answer. I'll take two different approaches. One, I would say if your child is severely struggling with that and you have no idea how to handle it, and it's wrecking their self-esteem, the way that they see the world, and you see depression and anxiety starting to set in a way that really is concerning you about their spirit, their soul, their heart, and you're really worried about them, I highly suggest looking into, of course, therapy. And there are two different modes of therapy that I absolutely love that I believe everyone should do additional research on is RTT therapy, rapid transformational therapy, and the second is somatic experiencing therapy. The reason why I say that is because there are holistic methods. It's just not just talking to somebody, but it's going into their mind, into their subconscious, into what they're saying about themselves when you're not there. So those are the two modes I would say if you're struggling with that. The second is that there is an exercise you can do with yourself and as a family, and again, reminding your kids, this is not just me preaching at you. I'm also going through this journey with you. And you don't have to do this for them. They can do it on their own device. Everyone can sit on the couch and you can play music. You can eat pizza. You can eat whatever you want to eat. Chicken wings if you're vegetarian, and like maybe tofu. Right? And you sit there and you decide, okay, as a family, we're going to follow the people that bring us joy, and we're going to unfollow the people that don't bring us joy. And if we can't unfollow them because there's going to be friendship politics or whatever, we can mute them on Instagram or whatever they want to do to not see that in their feed. And you don't have to look through their phone. They don't look through your phone, but you all do that. It's kind of the Marie Kondo approach where you take out things that don't bring you joy. And so giving them that exercise, so every year you do like a spring cleaning or winter cleaning, however you want to say it, and you are working through that so that your kids understand that social media is there to help you and benefit you. And if there's something that's not benefiting you, I don't care if everyone follows X influencer or this person or everyone loves this person in school. If it doesn't work for you, mute them or unfollow them.
Of that activity, even if it's just like you said, every couple of times a year to just declutter your Instagram. I'm gonna do that myself. But okay, so along with that, this week a big announcement came out. Well, when this airs, it'll been a couple months, but a big announcement came out from Meta that they have this new space for teens. They've been getting a lot of stress from the government and everybody else. And so this new space for teen was launched. Teens under 16 who have an Instagram account will automatically be rolled over to the teen accounts, right? They'll be migrated to this new service. It has built-in protections. It has control settings that parents can do. Parent can also see who the kid is interacting with and navigating with. Their profiles are private, and they can get monitor their DMs. And this is the part I like. You can get notifications be can turned off at night automatically. I believe it's a built-in setting for this new teen account. Tell me your thoughts about the new Meta teen accounts.
I think it's a great step forward, honestly. I believe that they're listening. There's a lot of work to do, but I am in the team or the camp that we celebrate every little step that we take. If we want ourselves to be celebrated, we need to celebrate other people. So I definitely celebrate the steps they're taking. And I'm also celebrating the people that are holding them accountable to the steps and then also further steps to protect teens online. I think that it's a great step.
I am hoping that they continue to take more steps. And I love that the under 16-year-olds are going to automatically be migrated over. That is important. All right. So there are so many parental controls and tech tools available now. Can you share some of your favorite tech tools for managing screen time and ensuring internet online safety without being overly restricted?
Yeah, so because my background's in cybersecurity, I'm very careful about what I recommend because there are parental control apps that have been hacked and leaked information about kids, where they lived, who they talked to, pictures, videos, photos, messages, the whole thing. So I'm very mindful of that. I'm in the camp of you use the parental controls that are available to you within the apps that your kids are using. So you have Apple parental controls, you have Google parental controls, YouTube parental controls, and then outside of that, I stick to companies that have a vested interest in security and safety. So if you're using Norton parental controls, or if you're using Microsoft, you can use Microsoft Family Safety. And so there are I stay away from like third party companies that don't have a vested interest in safety and security. There are certain companies, slowly as I've been talking about this and talking to their team, they've been changing up the way that they do things, and they're adding more security. Because the worst thing you can do, or worst position that you can be in, not you can do, it's not about you as a parent, but is download an app that you think is protecting your kid, but it's being used against you by a predator who's tracking your kids the way that you're tracking your kids. And that's something you don't want to happen. So I'm very mindful. I would stick to whatever the platform your kid is using, look at their parental controls.
Let's get that because it's a little different and I love it and it might even be a little controversial. I don't know, but I like the idea. And I think it's the first time I've ever heard anybody say this. Use the controls that are already in the app. Why, Michelle? Because what you just heard. Because the hackers know that you're using these apps and they're hacking the apps and they're getting the information. And what you think you're doing to protect your child may actually be the opposite. So, this is what I heard. And it's what I want you to think about and pay attention to, that you are better off using in app controls, whether it's on your TV, whether it's on their iPad, whether it's Microsoft, but use Instagram has them, YouTube has them,
Even your internet.
in app. Internet has it, in app controls. That's big. That's probably the first time I've ever heard anybody say that. And I follow quite a few people who talk about internet security for kids. So thank you for that. That's a huge.
My pleasure.
All right, we're going to try to wind down this a little bit because this topic, again, we know she's going to be back for us. So we want to encourage parents to offer alternative activities. I'm probably way older than you because you just said you got 30 under 30. And so double that and you got Michelle. But we used to go outside and play. So, how do we encourage alternative activities that foster social, cognitive, and emotional growth? Like, what activities can we do to pull our kids away from screens and still capture their interests?
2 ways. One, you use the app. So I love Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media has an article, if you Google it, it says, apps that gets kids to play outside. There's a list of apps depending on your child's age that encourage them to go outside. So they use the app and encourage them to go outside. The second way is to use what your kids already love and take it to an offline version. So growing up, and I still love anime, I love cosplaying. One way that I got outside was cosplaying. So I would go to anime conventions, I would meet other people that liked anime, I would cosplay as my favorite character, and I would go and have fun with other people who had same interests as me. If you can find like a Roblox club in a local college or community college or high school or middle school, even a boys and girls club, there are many different organizations that have a way for your kids to connect using the things that they love. If they love cooking videos on TikTok, can they once a week take the cooking video they say that they thought they would never use and cook for the family, or you cook together as a family? Whatever way that you can take what they love. They love DIY videos, they love slime videos. What can you do to take that into an offline version?
Is the greatest advice. Um, And we will make sure the article that she referenced, Common Sense, will be in the podcast notes. So I just want to thank you for joining us today and for sharing all this great advice. Y'all, gems were dropping all over the place. So screen time can be used as a tool for learning, and it's something that we have to manage carefully, especially when it comes to keeping our kids safe. I hope today's conversation has empowered you to set boundaries, start important conversations with your kids, protect their well-being in this digital age. It's not going anywhere. So until next time, remember, Being a good enough parent means making decisions that work for your family, and that's more than enough. So check the show notes for all of the things Fareedah mentioned to us, and make sure that you stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you.
Absolutely.